So,
I do have a annual report. The other one I gave was for the end of the fiscal year, this is after the calendar year. The first page is for the month of,
no, if you did that a month, that's good.
first page should be 17,314.
For December.
For December.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be for January. Because this was the calendar year report, not, because it goes all the way to the end of December.
Is your front page
Oh,
not just for
no, I'm
December, and your
sorry.
second page for the year?
I'm sorry, the second page is for the year.
Yeah.
So for the monthly report, 17,314.50, and for the total calendar year, $163,315.
Terry, I talked to Brandy this week, and everyone has paid for their liquor license,
Yes, as far as I know.
so we're all current.
Yeah, that's, she keeps very good track of that. She sends out notices, collects all the fees, and if they don't come in, she calls them or make sure they are aware they don't get that liquor license, they can't sell it. And once she does that, they're in here pretty quick.
Yeah, that's good.
Keep up, that'll make a difference.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any other business?
Hey, Bob. I just wanted to acknowledge Raleigh for all of his hard work and everything that he's done for the county. Today is his last official day as an employee, and I greatly appreciate everything. You've helped me out tremendously in many ways, not just IT related, but just, you know, support as I needed it, different projects, everything I've ever asked you've done. So I greatly appreciate all your hard work. You'll be missed.
Second.
I agree.
Yes.
Wish you the best.
I know I saw some things I didn't really know, and you don't know them until you actually see them in action. And Angie needed some help, and she was having trouble finding somebody to help her, and you did help her. That's what I do.
I'd like to say something too. I was over here, what night was it, Raleigh? We were here.
I don't know, I was here late 2 nights.
Uh,
I have a funny way of spending my last week kicking back.
I think it was Tuesday, because of the agenda had to be posted, and I didn't have all the information for it at the time. And I came back over to finish the agenda up Tuesday night and do some other work. I was here for a couple hours. Raleigh was here, and I know I left at 9:15, 9:30. He was still here that night. So, I mean, he puts in a lot of hours that nobody even knows about.
And I think the general public has never known that, and that's sad. I mean, it really is. I'll just go on record as many times that we've been beat up over his position and others, they have no clue what goes on. I mean, I hate to say that, but they don't, but thankfully they do. But that's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Grant, I received photographs from you, and I thought it was great that Osage was waiting on you when you got there?
Yeah, they're very grateful for the county's business, and we're real happy with the unit. Paperwork's filled out with the title and license transfer. As soon as we get the check where it can go into special division in Springfield, we'll get that started, but we have to be careful on the timing because you have to pull one out of service to do that, so we need to make sure that mechanically we're up so that those several days that go by between getting 4 other inspections done, that we have an ambulance in place to take cover calls. So we're progressing.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, good deal.
Come down and see it. I want to show it to you.
Angela?
I just have one, some of my office staff, they kind of brought it to my attention and they kind of have some concerns. Do we have a policy in place, whether it's written or verbal, something in the computer as far as the policy for submission and procedural of payroll?
I don't know what kind of policy you're referring to or what part of it, so
Well-
we just email to the payroll email.
Right.
And,
Well, I know that when we went on to that new electronic a couple years ago, everything's done on computers. And I know with holiday schedules or sick time, vacation, people being in and out, and we understand that. But it's been brought to my attention from, like I said, some of my staff, and they're extremely concerned about it, that, and it's nothing directed towards anyone, but we do know that some payroll has been done off-site. So what security measures has the county board taken as far as being done off-site, a policy in place that allows that our information is secure as far as banking information? Because when you're taking stuff off-site, that's a major, with, payroll, all of your information's out there and all of your banking information.
What do you mean off-site?
Payroll submission's been done off-site for holiday schedules. As far as, we've gotten emails asking us to have it submitted by a certain day because there's been vacation schedules. So they've had to do them from home instead of here on premises. And then there's been email confirmations come back to say when the payroll's been submitted.
I think you've gotten some bad information.
Yeah.
There's no payroll that's done.
Okay, well, you
outside.
actually called me one day directed from you, and you told me you were working from home on that Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving.
And I didn't, I came in and
Okay.
read it.
Because,
All
and
payrolls
she
been
actually, it
done.
came from her, it came directly from the human resource to me, and then Emily had gotten some of the knowledge too from where she has to turn in the vouchers to her. So that was just a security measure because she's extremely concerned because her and Jean both work for the county, Asa and I both work for the county. So I just wanna make sure that it doesn't take place because it was brought from her directly to me and to Emily that it was going to. So if that's the case, then it's nothing against anybody, but the security measure, if it's gonna be taken off-site, the liability is gonna be back on the county, so what security measures would you take if that happens? So, or now, are you gonna do a policy that it cannot be?
Yeah,
It hasn't been done, I don't know what the security risk would be, the payroll.
So, it
stuff.
wasn't bad information that I got, she actually told me directly, so it was not bad information I got. She actually called me and asked me if she was gonna do it from home, and that was a major concern of mine. When you're working off-site, anybody can hack into your computers.
What information is potentially getting out there? What are we talking about?
Well, it's all of your employee information, it's your banking account number, it's your routing number, who you bank with,
Well, that's all stored in the cloud right now, so if that can't leave the building, it exists outside the building.
well, that's what I'm asking, I'm directing it towards the county board, so what policy do they have in place that allows for security measures that an employee, because I don't take my stuff home, as far as if I'm working from a hotel or at conferences, but there's certain things with employee personnel that I have to leave here. So that's my question. So if they're gonna start allowing that, what policy are they gonna implement to support that? Because if something happens, at least if it's done from here, it's from here. But if you're starting to take it
Well,
off-site.
even if it's done from here, it is leaving the site because it's going into the paycheck server. and it
Right, but
all
if
is-
you're at home logged in a computer, how do I know, and I'm not making it, but how do I know if my information's logged up and all on the computer that her son or her family or a friend or someone walks by and it's left logged in? I mean, at least if you're here in the county, you're monitored by video cameras. I mean, how do I know that someone's not screenshotting the computer? That's my concern.
It may not hurt to update policy just because the procedure has changed.
Yeah,
To say specific positions that can access that database wouldn't be a bad thing, especially if it is a cloud-based program.
Right.
We don't want people that aren't human resources accessing human resources information.
Well, that would
And I guess my thing is where it's gonna be happening on premises, on site, off site, or is that something you're gonna allow? Because, I mean, if it's gonna start being off site, I mean, you've got a lot of employees that are concerned about that.
Sure. Well, and to your point, Tiffany, it's not in reaction to something that happened that's bad, it's a good reminder. It's been a while since it's been updated.
Right.
But Angela's not been,
No, and that's why I said,
Right,
I'm
there's
not
some
saying, it's just
information
that
or
when she
anything,
had
yeah.
brought it to my attention that day, and then when Emily, you know, she'd gotten a phone call, and Emily and her had a discussion, then Emily, that was the first thing, because her mind works, and she came in and we started talking about it, and I said, well, I mean, that's a good point, and, you know, and I will express it, so that's just what I wanted to do, is bring it to you guys and let you guys figure it out as far as the policy or what you need to put in place to protect that from happening.
It's probably not a bad idea to look at a policy
Right.
and figure
No,
out. I would urge you to think of all scenarios though, because if payroll is every week here, and just like today, we had bad weather, if you had bad weather, do the employees want human resource to do payroll from home so they get paid, or do they want to not be paid? Because, you know, you could come into that predicament where you can't get to work.
Yeah, we need to look at that.
So you just gotta think of everything when you're writing it.
Well, along those lines with IT, with Raleigh, with this being his last day, I know that we've looked at it and then there's some ideas, but we need to finalize today what our interim, before we make a final decision. We've got to make a decision during the interim period on how we're going to cover IT and the extracurriculars that Raleigh does now. And I guess you've all got the the email of, you know, and I've asked this for Raleigh and Angela and Angie have gotten this, a breakdown of his job duties as IT and his job duties as assigned or as requested. And if we don't make a decision, things are going to start slipping through the crack, and we can't afford that. So we need to discuss and finalize today, since it's Raleigh's last day, on how we're going to cover that.
Well, I don't know how, I mean, you can't finalize anything today.
No, I'm talking about during the interim period.
Well, I know, but Raleigh has agreed to continue on and help us.
Oh, and that's what I'm saying, though, and I agree to that, Max, I agree to that.
Yeah.
But we need to make sure that that's the plan on what we're going to do.
Ms. Raleigh's agreed to stay on a part-time basis, and work, you know, basically being paid by the hour instead of a salary, as long as we need him. Maybe, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but obviously he will have less time because he has a full-time job, so he can't give us as many hours as he has been, but we know he works evenings and nights and early mornings, so.
Does that include FOIA?
Last I've heard, you wanted me to continue doing FOIA until you decide something else. So if that's the case, it's fine.
He's willing to do FOIA, so that's,
And when I talked to Tyler, when we had our meeting, Angie and I with Tyler, of course, that was one of his concerns, and he said that he doesn't have the time or the manpower right now to do that, and that was one of his main concerns during the interim period of the FOIA request. And guys, the thing about it is, you know, what we're going to do to fill this gap, that's secondary as of right now during the interim period before we make that decision. Because once we make the decision, you know, we'll have things in place to where we can assign job duties, whether it be IT or the other stuff. We can make that decision at the time. But my concern is when he walks out today, if tonight, over the weekend, we have something IT crash, what are we gonna do?
We're gonna call Raleigh.
That's right, and I just wanna make sure that we're all in agreement to that.
Well, I thought we were. I didn't know there was any question about that.
Okay, I just
That's why I
want.
said that.
Yeah, no, and I just want to finalize that, because, and then we need to get our heads together and make a decision on how we're gonna handle filling this spot. But personally, I'll go on record to say, I think it's a no-brainer that if Raleigh is willing to do this in an interim period, since he knows the system, he knows all the stuff that he does, I think that we would be foolish to do anything but that during the interim period, because we're asking somebody or some company or somebody to come in and start from scratch when we're up and running. I mean, that's my opinion. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page with that.
I think we are.
Okay?
Where are we at on putting like an RFP together, or?
I'm still trying to put some stuff together for you. I'll continue working on that today. It's necessarily either very comprehensive or very basic. The one I answered years ago was very open-ended, but then it had different parts for different things. As you can imagine, I've been absolutely swamped since the word went out that I was leaving with last-minute things, and then we continue to have just the day-to-day stuff going on. And I'm trying to get that together for you. As far as the job description, we met and worked on that last week, so I think most of that you're probably ready to get hammered out if you go that direction as well. I think that the biggest thing that you were fortunate with this is when you had that RFP that I responded to, and you were also seeking internet service back then and web hosting, that you had me as the only person who put in a bid, I believe, and then finding internet providers, you had to go out and search for them. Well, now you've got at least 3 companies that are interested right now, so you're in a much better spot there. You're not gonna have trouble finding somebody interested. But there's a whole time period with that where once you release the RFP, you're probably gonna need at least 2 weeks to have it so that they have a question and answer period and can get other specifics, and then it'll take you time to consider them and break them down, obviously.
Well, I'm not concerned about, I mean, I think our reputation now is, say, we've got 3 companies wanting to bid, and that's a good thing. I'm not worried about that part of it. I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not worried. I'm worried about the other 75 things that you do that has nothing to do with an IT company. Get somebody to do it. That's my concern, so,
Mine too.
yeah.
It is because if that is where we're at now, that a lot of things that were slipping through the crack are not now. And I for one, on my watch as commissioner, I don't want that to happen. You know, and we need to be very much aware of that. And like I say, I appreciate Raleigh staying on during the interim period to make sure that doesn't happen. But at the same time, like Max said, this is a two-sided coin here that we're looking at for filling this spot. We have an IT, and then we have these other duties. And the IT is for everybody, and you know, everybody's concerned that has the IT. And then this other stuff is, I think that, as Max said too, when he alluded to what Raleigh does, it's a whole lot of stuff that nobody notices until it slips through the crack, and then everybody goes, well, what happened here? And I just want to make sure that we're aware so that we can, when we fill a spot or however we choose to do it, that is part of the consideration. And the sad part about it, we're financially the way that we are now, and it's going to cost money, because we either have to fill a spot or if we go with a company, then we still have these other job duties, and we're going to have to make some decisions. That's why I brought it up. I just want everybody aware so that we're not walking into this blind.
If
On
you'd
the,
like,
on the last days here.
I can send out an email to all the department heads, letting them know, you know, that, you know, they can still contact Raleigh. I get it, I've already gotten an email address from Raleigh.
I think that'd be a good idea. That way they're not calling you or me or
Yes.
whoever at midnight wanting to know what I'm supposed to do.
No, but somehow we need to monitor that too, Angie, because, you know, Raleigh is taking on a new position, and if it's something that's minor or you know, I mean, and I shouldn't say minor because it's important to them, but, you know, if he's getting calls during the interim period as much as he is now, then he's not going to be able to do both jobs.
Well, the office phone does not forward to my cell phone anymore, so that reduces a lot of it. What I've done with clients in the past is a lot of times we have rules of engagement established where anybody can email me, but only somebody, say supervisor level or above, could call or text me.
Okay.
That way, it's not just, you know.
Or
100
request,
people decide what's
and
important.
that's a good point, like say, it needs to be a department head that actually calls Raleigh if they're gonna have him come in to do something, rather than for somebody to say, hey, I can't get my monitor screen to come on, can you come in and look at this?
Well, there's some stuff you're gonna need somebody to come in and do, whether there's a call or
Oh,
not.
no, yeah, I know, but I think I just don't think you should be getting calls from everybody across the county.
Yeah.
It should come from, if he's gonna come in to do something, it should come from a department head, my opinion.
Is that everybody's opinion? Am I sending that out?
Well, I don't know, that's why we need to discuss this, because tomorrow's, or 4 o'clock today, that's the way it's gonna be.
Probably would be a good idea. I mean, just make it simple.
I don't know that there's any need for you to say that nobody can contact, I mean.
No, I'm not
if
saying
somebody
that.
sent an email or
Because
something-
here's the deal, Raleigh, you know, you might say over the phone, okay, have you tried this and everything, and then you try, okay, it's back on.
Mhm.
Rather than say, I need you to come in and look at this, and then, of course, then when that happens too, I know, hey, while you're here, but Crystal, you had something?
Well, along those lines, Tuesday I had sent an email requesting all of our passwords for different software programs, some status of computers that were ordered in July that haven't been delivered. And I realize you've been busy and can't install the computers. But if we could get the passwords, there's a lot of things that Scott and I can troubleshoot and take care of on our end prior to making
Well,
that
I
phone
honestly
call.
haven't even gotten a chance to look at your email in depth, I know you're asking for a lot of things, but I mean, you've got the administrator password, I don't know what else I would have that you would need other than some serial numbers and things.
Well, I mean, like the deep freeze software, where is that
Yeah, it's a
software?
serial
What is
number.
the password?
It's all
I
in the
mean,
cloud, I'll be able to give you all that, I mean, like I told Scott the other day, I'm not dropping dead right now, like, I'm still there, I'm still helping you, you know, I'll get you what you need, but I just, in terms of passwords, you guys have everything, so I don't know what I would give you.
Is the backup set up on the server? I know we've had failed backups for a few weeks and the sheriff's requested multiple times for you to help us get the backup set
Did
up.
the sheriff tell you what I told him?
That you were gonna come down and take care of it?
I don't think we want to have this discussion right now,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm happy to help.
What do you guys think?
Well, I think the email should be basically what you're saying with, I think depend on, let Raleigh help her how he wants it for his best interest. You know?
Yeah.
You're not in any danger of me sending you, you know, turning in 60 hours of overtime next week or anything. I mean, I don't have it to give you. So it's more
Well, I don't
in my
think-
opinion, it's more a matter of you don't want me getting overwhelmed where I can't.
And that's exactly right. Yeah, I
I'm
don't,
worried about.
not the other way, I'm not worried about that. I mean,
But just
I would be worried
understand
about that if it happened, but that's not why I said that.
Yeah, yeah. Just understand, I mean, for several years, I've been working 25 hours in addition to what I do here outside of here. So I mean, I'm very helpful and can, you know, put up with a lot. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Very good.
I do have some stuff for the budget if you want to discuss it now. or if you wanna wait till later.
Is it something?
Or I can give you this, you guys can look it over and we can talk about it later.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Well, I give it to you after the meeting, but.
I did have a couple of things if I could. Sure. Had the CIDA's board meeting last night, and they have assured me they are working on getting all of our information on their website along with the other counties. I continue to nag them about that, but this again is a lot of different kinds of loans that can be structured a lot of different ways. Please, if you know of anybody within the county that should be applying for some of those, we want to do that, because that's something we can tap into now that a year ago we did not have access to. And this is a lot of money that's potentially to be loaned out there. And as I've said before, you pair that up with our revolving loan fund, the funds that are available there. If you're in the city of Anna, they have one as well. That's a lot that could be done to expand some of our local businesses and help them to grow and help them to hire people. The other thing I was going to say, we had a webinar we joined yesterday on legislative updates. U of I Extension does one of these every year, and it's usually pretty informative. The one thing that I found the most interesting in this, and you'll have to research a little bit to get more details, because they said townships in their example, and I'm not sure how expansive this is, but where, as you know, Illinois has 6,000 to 7,000 units of local government. We don't know exactly, for a variety of reasons, what the number is, but there's been a real push to consolidate as much as possible. Well, one of the laws that has gone into effect now that they mentioned yesterday, it talks, again, this one specifically towards townships, so I don't know how it expands, but where you have 2 units of government consolidate, and you would normally be seeing some economy of scale there where you're not going to have to pay for dual services, that employee contracts have to stay in effect, it said. So if you merge government, you still may be having to pay for all the employees. So as this continues to be a push and something that is going to happen, just keep that in mind. But that was the one thing that really stuck out. But once I get the recording of it, I'll send it out for everybody to take a look.
Anyone have anything else?
I have one other question. In regards to our budget meetings, and I know there may be possible layoffs coming or with the county, I know that we have money in reserves, but we're still sitting at a deficit because they don't want to pull out of, with reserves to deplete them. So when you revisit to fill the position as far as with Raleigh's, are you guys gonna revisit the salary, or are you gonna leave it the same? I mean, then as far as like his hourly that you're doing on part-time, have you guys set that? I mean, where are you kinda on money? Because the budget, I'm sure, is gonna be posted here shortly. And, I mean, if you're talking layoffs or not filling other positions, we kinda need to know where we're setting to move forward for our offices too, to get our works done.
Well, as far as Raleigh's position, the money that was allocated for his position will carry over, into that line item, but now.
Right, but I mean, if you set like the hourly rate versus like his full-time rate, or is it still gonna be the same?
I agreed to work at the same hourly rate.
So then, I mean, will that be something you'll just set forward, or you'll wait till you guys do the release to kind of see someone's qualifications, if you'll leave them at that same salary or lower?
No, and that's the thing
That's what I mean,
about
like,
it.
if you hire
No,
someone-
we need to decide how we're going to fill that position. If it is with a person, then we will look at what the qualifications and what salary that person will be at. If we determine that we're going to go with a company, then it will be under a contract. But with that being said, the money that he, in his salary now, will go over into that line item, and that's what we'll have to work with.
Okay.
Yeah, but as far as salary set for a new person and or the contract that it will cost,
Yeah.
we don't know that.
Okay.
We don't know that, but it would be not wise of us not to carry that money over to have it there. So we carried that money over so that we would have that pool, that line to pull from. Okay? My hopes is we'll come under that. But that's my hope.
We don't have much comments?
Just listening.
Okay, Jeff? Okay. Does anybody know of any executive session that we need to?
No.
I don't know if Alex has anything else or not.
I make a motion, we adjourn. You got anything else?
No.
We have a motion of adjournment on the floor.
Alex,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Dale,
Yes.
Bobby,
Yes.
Danny. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I think that's what
Oh, yeah, we always eat that. I know, he would have fun.
Oh, yeah, he loves me.
Yeah.
How would this, how would we do?
Right.
Who I mean?